Ayuboa, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Northern Wall, your weekly live stream talk show with me, your host, Kayla Malari. Now, I know this week I'm starting a little bit earlier, and it's because I don't know my work schedule for next week, and I feel like I'm going to start a little bit later next week. So, in my head, I'm just splitting the difference. Anyways, just a reminder, this is a weekly talk show. It is at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am here doing it live from my home in Noble House. And I see all of you guys in the comments. Just to remind you guys, the comments do come about like 20 seconds after what I'm reading. So if I'm delayed in responding to you or I don't actually see everything, I apologize. I'm so sorry. I do have one of my directors in there, Sammy, otherwise known as Nifa. She is in the comments. She is there under the core dance crew. She will help answer any questions you guys have or flag me down in case you guys have any questions you have for me. But aside from questions, I'm really here to talk about one thing for this series, and that is the history of core, a brief and annotated history of the core that is not in any way brief or annotated. I mean annotated in the sense that I'm not going over every single little thing, but you know, we try. So where we left off last year is we ended the 107th Squadron, a year I barely remember, and not for lack of trying. I don't remember it simply because we had so much to do that year. Like I said before, the 107th Squadron was when we lost a lot of our original veterans and a lot of our original corpsmen from the beginning of Corps as a whole, and we got in a whole slew of new recruits. And so last year, I say it like it just happened, 107th Squad was mainly reestablishing that connection that we had with each other, which was so great that clearly we just flew by the year and I don't know what happened. And neither does Rostin. So we try. Now we are into the 108th year. Now 107th year was the ending of our epic 3-part series that this show got its namesake from, which is Beyond the Northern Wall. We just ended it with Return to the Unknown. I said goodbye to Hanji. I know, spoilers, if you have read chapter 132 of the Attack on Titan manga, I know, trust, I know. And we'll talk about that somewhere else at a different time. So no need to don't say it in the chat because spoilers are a thing. Anyways, so last year, gosh, why? I'm just living in the moment. It's method. 107th year, we finished everything. We are now in the 108th year, and we decided to have auditions again. This is now the second time we're having auditions at all. We don't usually have auditions, but we decided this year, and it was fun because I got to teach it. The year before, I didn't teach auditions. I just sat and was an observer. The 108th Squadron, I taught the audition piece, and I had Juju be my assistant because he was on board that year, and it was really fun kind of putting a piece of choreo on Juju. I really just love his dance style. He's very quick. It's very much a beast boy when he dances. So it was very, very fun doing that audition process. Do I remember it? No. I remember there's a picture of it, and I think somewhere in the ether, there's a video of me and Juju doing that audition piece together. And that's about it. That's all she wrote in her mind palace. Shout out to who knows where that's from. If you know where Mind Palace is from, that reference, please say it in the chat, and I'll love you forever. Okay? And I'll answer in just a little bit, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to Mind Palace. Where is that reference from? Anyways, 108 Squadron, we brought in, who did we bring in? Everyone's been on Corps for forever, so I don't remember when they came in. Okay, don't call me out, Nifa. I remember in my brain, this is when Trini came in. Oh, and Richie and Ari. I know there's other people. Yes. Okay, babe, you can't say Rawson doesn't count. He knows that because I've been watching it. I love Sherlock Holmes. I literally do. Every iteration, everything about Sherlock Holmes. Ugh, I love him. But so 108th Squadron, I know we have people that came in. Not quite sure everyone who came in, because I'm like, in my head, Trini's been there since 5 ever. And in reality, she's only been there since the 108th Squadron. So clearly, I've rewritten memory in my head. Oh, LA came this year. Oh my gosh, I have a fun story about LA. So LA joined, loved her, but her name is Laura Ashley. We've never called her that. I think the very first day of rehearsal when we did the roster video, oh, this is when JK came in too. I saw Jonathan Kim, his name, and I saw Laura Ashley. And I asked them both that night. I asked JK, can I just call you JK? Does anyone call you that? He's like, no. And then I asked LA, does anyone ever call you LA? And she was like, no. So I was like, well, okay, we're going to call you guys that forever. So then one of my friends that I work with at Active Learning, the after school program that I dance with, he knew LA. And so he said when we went to work like a week or two later, he was like, oh, my friend said that she made it on the core dance crew. And I was like, oh, who's your friend? He said, Laura. And I looked at him, I said, we definitely don't have a Laura. And he was like, cute little blonde girl. And I was like, I mean, we have a cute little blonde girl, but we definitely don't have a Laura. This girl's lying. I straight up told him this girl was lying. And I was like, she's weird. She's definitely not on the team. He's like, I'm sure. It took me about 12 hours before I finally texted him and LA. And I said, oh my gosh, your name's Laura Ashley. And he was like, yeah, her name's Laura Ashley. I was like, oh, we definitely don't call her that. I definitely call her LA. So I was like, oh, I felt bad. I was like, this girl, this mythical girl to me, Laura. I was like, she is not on this team. No, LA was definitely on this team. Little nugget. LA came, JK came, Richie, Trini, Ari, other humans. See, and to me, LA and JK have been there for forever. So I'm like, you came in a year. Anyways, so that year, we, like I said before, we always start our year in September. And so for November, okay, say the months in order, Kilmlari. You have to say, it goes September, October, November, December. From October, November, we do other cons, but we don't do it necessarily with the new team because we're teaching them the choreo. We're creating a new show with them. So a lot of the returners end up doing the conventions that we do in October and November. We did LA Comic Con, and this year we did 2 different, was it 2? Yes, we did 2. I didn't get to do one of these performances, which was fine because the one that I did do was great. So, because I was working, was this the year? No. Lies. I'm a liar. This is the year I was working at Knott's. The year before, I had got to choreograph for Elvira's Mistress of the Dark's very last show at Knott's Berry Farm. Yes, that Elvira. She's amazing. Cassandra Peterson is the greatest human being in the world. And I got to be her very last choreographer for her very last stage show at Knott's. This year, I was doing, it was called Balcony Burlesque. We were like zombie. I don't even know what we were. We were dead saloon dancers. I don't know. So I couldn't do the night. It was for Haunt at Knott's Berry Farm. So I couldn't do the night show. So the night show at Club Comic-Con with Bernie was done by the DC Bombshells. I'm looking at my notes. DC Bombshells. We're going to get to them in a second because they're fierce. But then during the day at LA Comic-Con for Nerdfest, we did Voldemort and the Death Eaters. When I tell you when we did Voldemort and the Death Eaters, like Brandon is our token villain. He just plays villains very well, and he has so much fun playing them. He played our Voldemort, and when Brandon decides to go full out for a cosplay, he will go full out. He had a full bald cap for Voldemort, and we taped his nose away. Like, it was gone. His makeup looks crazy up close, but on stage it looks so good. I just remember we taped his face down and away and like paled him out, and he but this was like, of course, before we perform, and so we did our freestyle outside, and then we were waiting backstage before we performed, and he had to eat and he couldn't get, like, watching him eat pizza through like a taped up face. It was so funny. But yes, this was the year because we did the Death Eaters. Most of us were Death Eaters, and we had our golden trio. And two of our golden trio were brand new to the team, which was JK as Harry and LA as Hermione. And then Koki became, oh my God, Ron, my favorite character. Why did I not? I was like, Koki was Koki. Koki was Ron. What was really sweet is we did a movie night. What movie was it? I don't know. We had a movie night, and Core went out to go watch movies, and we always ask who can go. And of course, not everyone can go, but when we do go out, it's like a nice bonding experience. I was so excited because JK and LA came out to that movie night with us, and we're like, great, it's a time we can bond. And what was super cute is that the Golden Trio literally stayed together that night. Like, we got to, what was it? Orange and the outlets at Orange, or the Block as I know it. We went there and we got there early, we got our tickets. We all went to like get snacks or went shopping for a bit. And then when we sat down, like the Golden Trio was sitting together. It was like the Golden Trio, them as a Golden Trio, it'll always be those three. They were so stinking cute as a Golden Trio. And so we were performing at LA Comic-Con. I remember JK went, of course, Golden Trio together. They went hanging out when we had our break. And when they came back, JK had bought a sign that you hang that had clothespins on it to hang your socks, and it said "Free Dobby." I hate him, but it was great. This was also the iconic time when Shell wore Luscious, the long blonde wig, and became Luscious Malfoy, Lucius. Everyone had a character. Soulmate was Nagini, and before we knew Nagini was a person, Soulmate was the original human version of Nagini, so we knew all that. And Juju was Snape. He's definitely wearing the Mikasa wig, and it looks great. Like, it looks terrible. It looks great. It is so accurate. He is totally Snape. My bae, Skylar, was Narcissa Malfoy. Joseph was Barty Crouch, a perfect Barty Crouch. He got like the tongue flick and everything, the Tenant tongue flick. Oh, he was such a good Barty Crouch. So many people were, so many characters. I remember me and J Dang were not, we were literally Death Eater number 1 and 7. I'm pretty sure I was number 7. I was like Mama Death Eater. Something, I had a weird name. I didn't have a character. I was just a Death Eater. But we did have the dark mark tattoos on our arm. And like, you're not supposed to like that. But I don't have tattoos on me. I've always wanted to get one. And I've never actually done it. And I have a tattoo that I want to get. But having the dark mark on my arm, I was like, oh, it's really cool. I shouldn't want this. It's the symbol of like a mass murderer and a villain. But it's like cool. It was bad. Like, we really had way too much fun being Death Eaters. And that set was really fun to put together. Especially for like the little bits. Like, Little was the perfect Beatrix. Like, Little made, okay, sorry, Urban. I used to call her Little. Urban was Bellatrix. I said Beatrix. Where am I? Bellatrix Lestrange. Guys, I am now revoking my Harry Potter card. That was terrible. She was Bellatrix. Urban was Bellatrix. She made her cosplay herself. To a T, she made Bellatrix's cosplay. She looked fantastic. And my favorite piece from that set was Good Morning Voldemort. It was so funny. I also remember when we were putting together that set, I did a lot of the lifting, like we lift a lot of people, and I always put myself as a base because I grew up as a base. And there's one part where literally only one person could really lift Brandon as Voldemort, and I said, you're just gonna sit on my shoulder. He's like, are you gonna be able to hold me? And I was like, sir, ma'am, am I gonna be able to hold you? Hold my wand. Literally, J Dang holds my wand. And the reason why is because Shell couldn't hold Voldemort because his hair's so long that if Brandon sat on that wig and tugged it off, and I mean, poor Shell already had his wig tugged, or is already going to have his wig tugged off as Ida for Boku no Hero, so we're not going to do that to him here in the past. And who else, like, and then, yeah, My bae couldn't do it either because she also had long hair. Everyone had hair and robes that were in the way. And Brandon also was wearing this long, like, graduation robe cosplay thing. So I was like, you're going to sit on me. And he was like, I don't know if you can hold me. Brandon weighs all of this. This is how much Brandon weighs on my shoulder. Now, I'm not even going to grab my Funko Pop because that's too heavy. He weighs like this. So I just carried him on my shoulder. He was so nervous. I remember him being on there so nervous. We had it on lock and he did amazing. So also he's not breathing through it. His nose is gone. So for anyone who complains about dancing in a mask or wearing a mask, Brandon didn't have a nose and he couldn't open his mouth very far because of the tape. So, I love that set. If you haven't seen Harry Potter with Voldemort and the Death Eaters set at LA Comic-Con, go watch it. It's absolutely ridiculous. So much fun. Oh, thanks, soulmate. Strongest Avenger. That's the name a lot of my soulmate and a lot of Corpsmen say. Which I was like, I get really proud about that they say Strongest Avenger because it makes me happy. Captain Marvel. Anyways, then at night for Comic-Con, the girls did DC Bombshells. Right? What year is this? Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. Because Kyla was there. Kyla was Poison Ivy. Yes. And Bro TP was Wonder Woman. Soulmate's Raven. Rio is... What is her? Mira. All of it. Clarissa was a Starfire. And Lauren... No. Maybe Clarissa isn't Starfire yet. We did DC Bombshells again the next year. But Lauren was Catwoman and someone was Amy was Black Canary. Okay, there. See, she made it. Mira, I think it's M-E-R-A. Mira? Murra. Chibs wasn't Black Canary this year. Amy was Black Canary this year for Comic-Con because she didn't do this one. She did it later on. We did DC Bombshells later on that year for WonderCon. But for DC Bombshells at Comic-Con, it was a different roster. I had major FOMO. I didn't get to go to this performance. But they did great. The girls... And I'll forever shout out the girls for core because they always come in clutch. Like they did. I remember watching like snippets of the video. They just killed it. It was so good. So stinking cute. Also, they all just look so cute. But that was the first time we did Bombshells and it was really exciting because we weren't really we hadn't really incorporated heels into a lot of our cosplays dance-wise. I know for those of us who performed, me dancing in heels, that's what I did anyways. So a lot of them wore heels for Death Eaters, and it was their first time. It kind of changes the way you present yourself. And then all our girls wore heels for DC Bombshells. Granted, they wore heels on a stage that's meant for DJs and band members. So there's just a lot of sound equipment and wiring. So I'm glad none of them died, but they did that and it was great and everyone loved them. So then that was for LA Comic-Con. Then we move into, oh my gosh, you guys, this is the first year we get invited to go out to Las Vegas to perform for SabaCon, which is a convention out in Las Vegas. We haven't performed out in Las Vegas yet, so we're super excited. We decide to take Hip Hop Sailor Scouts, our Hip Hop Senshi, to SabaCon. And it was in November, I remember, bars, because we went out for Rio's birthday when we were out in Vegas. It was super cute. But before we left, I think it was all of the Sailor Senshi plus Chibi Moon and Saturn. Yes, because Chibs was Saturn. And Lauren was Chibi Moon and Amy was Dark Chibi Moon. Wow, we had a lot of people that year. And we were going out and like a week or two Wait, I have a question. Oh, do I like dancing? Of course I like dancing. I'm on a dance crew. I hope I like dancing. It'd be strange if I didn't like dancing. But we were out, before we left, we decided last second, we're like, okay, well, we're going to be driving in. We're going to get, we got a whole van for all of us to pile into so that we weren't caravanning through, but so that we were driving all together. And then Juju and Shellen, because they were on board that year, they were going as our management team. So we had 2 board members to manage. Even though I was there as the current director, it's hard to manage when you're on stage. So they were going as stage manager and for film work. And because we're all going to drive together and we were going to show up on the first day of the convention, I remember it was like either me or Rio or Kyla, someone. We were all like, what if we all showed up in the school outfit version of our Sailor Scouts before we showed up the next day in our hip hop Sailor Scout transformation? So like, great. So in like a week and a half, we all created our schoolgirl uniforms of our Sailor Scouts. And then the boys, we had Shellen dress as he was Mamoru. So tuxedo mask, but in his school version. And I don't know the name of him, but whoever Sailor Jupiter's boy is, like, she has a boy, he's blonde, he's her kohai, I forget, I don't know. Juju was that person. But they're just schoolboys, so they're just wearing like a short sleeve button up and black pants. So they look like adorable little Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons driving a entire school bus van of Asian schoolgirls. Like, we look like we're going to like religion camp. It was so funny. We were dying. We were like, well, this is the cutest, silliest thing. And it was great because we also took like chalk markers and we wrote all on the windows for our trip. And Shell was just making the joke. He was like, all right, let's go to Jesus camp now, y'all. And we just laughed. And in the desert, we passed by. We were dying. We're all laughing, and like Shell's driving and Juju's in the passenger seat and all the girls are in the back. We're all laughing and playing games. And Shell goes, hey guys, we're here at Jesus camp. And we look out the window and there is a neon cross over a cement foundation where clearly a building used to stand. Like, it's not there anymore. There's only remnants of a wall, but it's just there off the side of the road in the middle of the desert. And we all look and we're like, oh my, laughing so hard. We roll up to SabaCon in Vegas, and SabaCon was held at the Tuscany, and it was its first year there. They had one venue before, and then they had to move to a slightly bigger venue because they were a growing convention. And we always love going to new or growing conventions. We love to support smaller cons and help them get big and kind of explore people who are venturing out into that industry for the first time. So we pull up and we had our room there. And this is when we had this very iconic run-in with a security guard. And his name was Saul. Corpsmen know. Okay, so you will now know the story of Saul. Now, we are all cosplayers. We are all nerds. We are all weebs. Sometimes, and I can confirm this because I am guilty, sometimes we are annoying. We can be. We're loud, we're excited, we're doing con things at a con. We can be kind of annoying, especially if a hotel or a venue isn't used to having that sort of clientele in there. But we're also in Vegas, Las Vegas. Las Vegas is not a quiet town. It's not a peaceful town by any means. When night falls, things don't close up. It's Vegas. So we're thinking, as anyone else there is thinking, a perfect place to have a convention. So we come into the convention and all as a group, we're all dressed up like Sailor Scout schoolgirls. It was so much fun. Of course, we see a bunch of people. The Vegas cosplay scene is choice. It was so awesome. We got to explore the con very briefly. We saw our table, which we also didn't know we had a table. So me and Shell had to like, and at night, once everyone was settled, we had to like figure out what to put on this table because we didn't have any of our merch, didn't have any signs or anything. So we created a table out of nowhere. It was great in the dead of night. But we touched base with our con contacts and everything. And then I went to go check us in to the hotel, but we were just going to check into the hotel because this was Rio's birthday that we were there, and we were going to check into our hotel. We were going to drop off a few of our things to hotel room, and then we were going to go and have dinner at one of my sisters. When my sister was in Vegas performing with Cirque du Soleil, she always took us to a place called Firefly. It was a tapas place, and Rio loved it. And she was like, so we're like, let's take you to Firefly for your birthday. We'll have a great dinner in cosplay as the Sailor Scouts. And she was like, yeah, of course. And she's our little Sailor Moon. So we were super excited. As we're waiting, hold on. I remember, okay, so Shell wasn't there. I don't know if Juju was there because Juju was helping run around and do stuff too. Shell had to go to the van to grab something. And me and the girls were all in the lobby area of the hotel. I had just checked us in and I was coming back and we were sitting where, like, when you enter, there's like a nice little, like in any lobby, there's a place where you sit, where guests sit. And so they were sitting there and talking, but also the convention was on the second story. That's where all the ballrooms were. And if you like turn to the right of the lobby and go down that hallway, it's open at the top to the balcony of where the ballrooms are. So you can hear the convention. It's loud and that sound is traveling down to the lobby. Like a busy hotel would be. Like there are casinos everywhere and the casino sounds are coming in. So the noise, we're thinking it's just normal. I say that because as we're sitting in the lobby, this beautiful cosplayer dressed as Queen Serenity or Princess Serenity, I don't know, she looked stunning. She's wearing the full gown. Of course, Rio starts freaking out, and then we look over, we start freaking out. She starts freaking out over us because there's just a big group of us as Sailor Scouts. And her friends, she had a friend who was dressed as Luna, and another friend who was dressed as the human version of Luna, and another one who was like, who's also Chibi Moon. And she was like, oh my gosh, we asked if we can get a picture with her. She asked if she could get a picture with us. So all of us together, her and her friends and all of us, we decided to take a picture. I laughed in the beginning because we all settled into a picture and no one was ready to take a picture. You know, when everyone is just like, no one prepares. So her friend goes, her friend who wasn't in costume was like, oh my gosh, I'll go take a picture. I was like, we can switch out so then you can also be in the shot. So, but they were trying to get the camera to work and her friend was like, oh wait, I need to like delete some stuff. So then everyone just kind of, all these girls, these cute girls, were all just sitting there or standing there in our pose in the lobby, waiting quietly. And then like looking at each other, and the Serenity cosplayer is like, she goes, you guys are so pretty. And Rio's just telling her like, I just love your dress. They're just talking normally, as normal humans do. And there are other cosplayers they're kind of running around in the lobby taking pictures. Kind of annoying. As we take the picture, I didn't notice, but a security guard, is standing over by the doorway and he is not liking anything that's happening. His name is Saul. Saul does not like what's happening. So he comes up to us and he goes, you guys are being too loud. You need to leave the lobby. And immediately, of course, here's the sad thing. It's all girls. So all girls immediately apologize. How sad that the first thing we do, even when we're not doing anything wrong, is apologize. All the girls start apologizing, me, myself included. We go, oh, we're so sorry. And so she gets up with her friend. She's like, okay, thank you so much. And we're like, you look amazing. Hopefully you come see your performance first. She's like, yes. And she leaves. So then the girls end up waiting because I still need to finish checking us in to the hotel because we're staying at the hotel. And we're waiting for Shell to come back from the van. I think Juju was with us. We're waiting for Shell to come back. So we're waiting. And he goes, you guys have to leave. And I tell him, oh, no, I'm sorry. We're just waiting here. And he goes, no, you're being too loud. He starts getting really upset, you guys. He's getting upset. He's like, you're being too loud. I was like, oh, I'm sorry for being too loud, but we're waiting here because, and he won't let me get a word in. And I'm not the only one speaking to him at this point. It's I'm talking to him. I think Clarissa's talking to him because she's also on board, and like Chibs is there talking. And then at one point, everyone starts to get like, all the girls are just standing and everyone gets silent because he keeps interrupting. And so I just immediately, I take the lead and I go, wait. And so I get his direction. I stop looking at my team. Look at me, Saul. And I look at him and I go, sir, I'm so sorry. And he's just is saying, you're being too loud. And I said, we actually are guests of this hotel. I'm going to check in. He's not letting me say anything. He starts raising his voice. He starts going, I don't like the way you're talking. He is not having a good day. So Chibs sees that and she comes forward too, because she's like, I'm not gonna, and this is how Chibs is in general. She's like, I'm not gonna, even though I'm the director, she wasn't gonna let me fight him on my own. She didn't have to come forward with me, but it did feel good. She didn't say much, but she did stand forward, and immediately both of us are like blocking the rest of the team. It's just instinctive. You block them. And now I'm now raising my voice with Saul because I don't like that he's yelling at me or my girls for no reason. And so I'm saying, I don't know why you're upset, but we are guests. And he said, you're disturbing the people who are eating in the restaurant. You're disturbing everyone. And I said, this is the lobby of a hotel. I'm trying to check in. Are you saying we're not allowed to stand in a lobby in order to check into a hotel we're staying at? And he said, I don't know why you don't have to give me all this attitude. You don't have to be coming for me right now. And I start going, I say to his face, what is happening? It's usually what I say when all logic goes out the window. Clearly, I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. So deductive reasoning is ingrained into my brain. Deductive reasoning states he should not be acting like this because no logical explanation is now privy to the situation. So I don't know what's happening because, sir, Saul, you are not making any sense. You are just upset. And we can't have this. So I said, you know what? I need to talk to your supervisor. And he was like, yeah, let's go talk to my supervisor. He did not do that. But he's also, I'm in heels. And like I said before, I'm like a giant and I feel like I'm a bully. I'm just towering over him. And he's like, yeah, let's go talk to my supervisor. And I said, let's go talk to your supervisor. So I tell the girls to stay with Juju and Clarissa, and they just say, and they've been silent this whole time. The noise he's referring to is coming from the convention above us, to which I had pointed to. I said, sir, there is a balcony above us. You can see the people up there. They are talking. And he was not having it. So me and Chibs walk over. I said, yeah, Chibs, you're going to come with me. So we go over and he goes to get a supervisor. As we walk up to the front clerks, the check-in line, they're all there, and they had just seen me check in earlier, so they looked at me and they were like, did you need something else? And I said, no, I'm having a problem. This man Saul wants me to write a statement, or I want to meet with his supervisor, so that's why I'm here. And he goes, yeah, let me go get him. Saul disappears around the back. I'm left with one of the clerks. I never see Saul again. That was the last time I saw him. He went to the back and he never came back. I hope he's okay. To be quite honest, I hope he's okay. But I start talking. So then supervisor comes out. He goes, what is the problem? And I break it down. Sorry, Chibs is Lizzie. Lizzie is standing with me. And so I say my piece and Lizzie says her piece. And we explain exactly what happened. We are guests of the hotel. We are performing for the convention. I am the director of the core dance crew. This is one of my dancers. Over there are all my dancers. The one sitting quietly in the lobby, yeah, that's them. We were taking a picture while we were waiting to leave in our van before we check into our rooms later on this night after we have dinner, when the security guard was not happy that we were there, even though there's a convention happening literally all around us. And the man's like, oh yeah, we know you guys have a convention. I said, yes. So I don't understand why we just got in trouble for attending the convention. And the man was like, I'm so sorry. If you'd like, and I was like, I actually would like to write a statement just so that we can get this on record, because I like to do everything professional and on the book. So I was like, I would like to write a statement. And if anything, I would like to hand it over to whoever is responsible, the manager. And I would just like to have a conversation about what just happened. And of course, the clerk was like, yes, of course. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And I said, no, you don't have to be sorry, sir. You did nothing wrong. And as we were communicating, he was like, thank you for being very professional about this. Even with, he turned to Chibs too, to Lizzie. He was like, thank you for bringing this to our attention and for trying to explain it in the most neutral way possible. And we're like, yeah. I was like, you guys, you as the hotel, this one man doesn't represent you as a hotel. I honestly think he had a bad day. So that was for the day that incident ended. I took the paperwork and I was like, I'm going to go write this. When I write a statement, y'all, that statement is in detail. It was in detail. So I have no problem with flourishing prose and lots of adjectives and verbiage. So I took that paper and then I met up with the team and I was like, all right. And then Shell came back and he was like, I'm so sorry, I wasn't here for any of that. And I said, no, it's okay. I'm actually glad you weren't here for that. I'm glad that I was able to mitigate the situation. Also because Shell is a very large, tall human being, and his presence probably would have exacerbated the animosity just because he's a large, tall human being. And if you know Shell, he's very soft-spoken, he's very level-headed, but people get intimidated by his height and his look. He's like a big teddy bear. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm an off-putting person by nature, so I'm glad that I was able to deal with it. And because I'm the director, now I know exactly what happened. So I turned to Rio and we were like, you know what? We're so sorry. Let's go have dinner. We ended up just like dropping some stuff off in the hotel room, and then we went to dinner, and by the end of the night, all was forgotten. We had a fantastic dinner for her birthday in full cosplay. So people are looking over like, oh my gosh, like they look cool, but also that we got a lot of weird looks, which I think is weird in Vegas. You don't give weird looks in Vegas. We're in Vegas. Everyone looks weird. Celebrate the weird. We looked great. So we had dinner as the Sailor Scouts, and then we made it back to our hotel room. We did a little freestyle fun in our hotel room. I wrote out the statement, and then we went to bed, and the next day we got ready in our full Sailor Scouts, and we went out and we had a great performance, an absolutely great performance. It was a bit hard because the climate in Vegas is, as you know, none too great. It's a desert, it's dry. So trying to do our set, it got a lot of our dancers who weren't used to that dry weather, got them a little, and so we were like, I remember Amy had really dry because she has chronic bronchitis. And so Amy had to, right after the performance, she had to sit on the side just to breathe. And I say that because when your dancers show any signs of not being well, you have to make sure you know what's going on with them. And Amy is very level-headed. She's like, so I'm just having a little trouble breathing. I just need some water. I need to sit down really quick. And I was like, cool, that's great. She didn't freak out. She didn't do anything. She just was like, we're good. So that when the Q&A happened, she just sat on the side with our managers, and the rest of us held the Q&A right there on the stage. And the convention was super fun. We had such a great time. It was a small con, but you could clearly see it was a beloved con. There was a lot going on there, and it was so cute. But before we left, I met with the manager. And I made sure that I changed out of Sailor Jupiter so it didn't look like Sailor Jupiter. And I put on my core gear. That sounds like corgi. I put on my core gear and I went to go meet with the manager, and Shell was there with me too. And I think Chibs or Clarissa, one of the girls. And they kind of stood to the side while I just had a chat with him. And I remember handing over my statement, and the manager was like, I gave him a statement earlier in the day, and then I was there just to do a follow-up. And he's like, I did read your statement. It was very thorough. Thank you for that. He's like, I did also talk to my staff from their perspective. So it was like, I got an idea. And he's like, I did talk to Saul. And he said, I just want to apologize, and I thank you for being very understanding of the situation. And I remember saying to the manager, we had a long conversation about everything. And I was like, honestly, I think we were just the last straw for Saul. I think he didn't expect what this convention was going to be, and he probably had a hard day, and it was just the last straw. And he was like, oh, you don't have to, of course, because hospitality is a big thing for a hotel. And the manager's like, no, you don't have to say that. I remember laughing with him, and I said, honestly, I would love to have coffee with Saul and just ask him what's wrong. And he laughed at that, and he was like, nah, that's a very, very good way of viewing the situation. And I was like, yeah. So, I hope Saul gets the day off. Please, by all means, he should not lose his job over this. He should not lose his job. Mind you, Saul was not a nice man, But he did not deserve to lose his job because I don't know his circumstances. I don't know what his day looked like. I'm pretty sure someone with a large weapon accidentally smacked him in the head coming into the convention, and he was just like, I'm done. Me and He-Man are out. You know, so anyways, we ended up leaving that convention. SabaCon was one that we would return to in the future because we did love it. And it was the first time we ventured out to Nevada to perform. So that was a great, okay, it wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. It was not a great first time, but it was a good learning experience. I now knew what it was like to have to be a director, but have a man yell up at your face who's a lot smaller than you. And then to try not to be mean, but also to be firm and be like, no, you're not gonna, okay, this is weird. So, good learning experience all around. And I have never met Saul again, but if I ever do meet Saul again, I probably won't sit and have coffee with him, but I will probably go out, buy him some Starbucks, give it to him, and be like, hey, like 3 years ago, we didn't have a great altercation. I hope your life is better. I honestly and legitimately hope your life is better. And hey, like, you should watch this anime because I think you'd really like it. And then you'd like anime more. So, anyways, after that closed out the 2017 year. Now we're going into the year 2018. And we start off the year always at our favorite cons, ALA and Anime Impulse. And this year we decided to do Studio Ghibli. Now, my thing's not. Find me, camera. Autofocus. There we go. I didn't know until literally a couple of days ago, that Joseph has not seen Howl's Moving Castle. Or Spirited Away, I think. And neither has Rawson. Rawson saw Kiki's Delivery Service with me for the first time, like 3 days ago. Weird. That's weird. But we were doing Studio Ghibli, and we were super excited. Ghibli, however you want to say it. I know there is a proper way, but also I don't knock people that say Ghibli or Ghibli because let them live their life. It's not going to kill you. Ghibli set was a very, very fun set. We ended up doing Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Howl's Moving Castle. Shout out to Hot Topic for having a Studio Ghibli clothing line because we were taking on a lot of cosplays this year, and so we're like, we have to find our happy place between making everything at home and actually purchasing something that's similar because we simply can't. We don't have the time. We have lives. We are adults. So Hot Topic had this awesome Ghibli line, so we ended up incorporating a lot of that line into our cosplays. A couple of things we learned with Studio Ghibli was partner work, where there was a lot of partnering and a lot of lifting with this team. So a lot of the team had a crash course. Oh, we also had My Neighbor Totoro. Can was Totoro. I totally forgot that. His Totoro was great. He was a great Totoro. He was a locking Totoro. But we did a lot of partner work, not just in Howl's Moving Castle, but there was a lot of technical work required to be in Ghibli set. And so a lot of the team had a crash course in technique, in partner technique, because that's very different, but also in foundations of ballet and contemporary, also foundations of jive and foxtrot and waltz. There was a lot of ballroom styles in there. It was very, very good. We also had... Me and Soulmate decided we were going to have umbrellas and parasols for the closer because we're like, Totoro has his leaf umbrella, and so we should all have umbrellas. This is the dumbest idea to have because we could not find enough of them. We went on a search to every single Daiso in the entire Southern California district trying to find the right colors and the right amount of these parasols. And these umbrellas and parasols were just shattering at rehearsals because dancers have to dance and these things are not made to withhold dancing. So the umbrella dancing was quite a spectacular endeavor, you know. And yeah, Studio Ghibli set was actually really cute. I loved it because I got to partner with Koki in Spirited Away, And there's very few people on the team that I can partner with, even with contemporary, especially with contemporary. So I really look to Koki as my contemporary partner. It was also a great way for LA and Shawnee to flex their contemporary skills in Howl's Moving Castle. Absolutely cute. But also all those couples in there. It was like Shell with J Dang, they're cousins. They were super cute. Jason and Ari, Rostin and Liz, and wait, I'm mixing up some people. Little Urban was a guy for Howl's, and Soulmate was also a dancer. Did they? No, I think Rostin and Soulmate were paired together, and Liz and Urban danced together. Yeah. So we had those partners. Mad props. Howl's was To Collide. Heartstrings. Howl's was such a beautiful number. I was very proud and very impressed with all of them in that number. They worked really hard. We had a lot of added rehearsals for the Howl's group because partner work is hard. It takes a lot of time because you're doing 100% with another partner. So, oh yeah, Herb was, Shell and Ari were partners, but so were Shell and J Dang. They did partner at points too. Trust me, I know, guys. I know who were partners. I know I say I don't remember, but give me some credit. I know who partnered together. I could show you the clip if you would like. But also, for the people who were in Spirited Away, a lot of them weren't contemporary based, and yet they were so gung-ho with putting it together. I know Kyla and Sky and Richie, it was not their style, I guess, but they were definitely willing to go. It was a very modern contemporary piece, and they were willing to go there. And then for everyone who did Kiki's was high paced. I personally loved Kiki's. I thought the choreography was very difficult to do, and they executed it beautifully. And Lauren with her rifle twirling with that broom, oh, so good. It was really, really good. So, and then Mononoke, oh, Soulmate and Shell as the wolves next to Chivs as well, not Mononoke, but and then she was, what is her name? What is her name in Princess Mononoke? I don't even know her name. I know that JK was Ashitaka. Watching Chivs or Lizzie and JK dance in Princess Mononoke was beautiful. They had danced together before that, but their technique is off the charts. Just stunning. They're also very acrobatic. Absolutely acrobatic. And then Soulmate and Shell as wolves was so good. And everyone was little, what do you call these things? I forget. Soulmate probably knows what these are called. These guys in Princess Mononoke. Oh, thank you, Sarah San. What, Soulmate, what are these? I don't know what they're called. Nifa, what are these? Anyone? Liz, what are these? They're little forest spirits. Aren't they called something? I forget. Yeah, I don't know. They'll find out in the chat. But bobbleheads, yes. Tree spirits, I swear they're called something. Kodamas! Thank you, Bro TP. They are. They are Kodamas. And we had the little masks on them too. Oh, those were so cute. Ghibli set was very, very fun. We did it at AI, Anime Impulse, first? I think so. I think we did it there first, and we did it ALA second. Yes, that was because then the next year was the first time we did ALA first and AI second. But we did it at Anime Impulse. I remember right after the performance, everyone jumped down into the audience and they did a freestyle circle. And everyone was killing it in the freestyle circle. It was so much fun. Yeah, I do remember that. That stage was crazy. That stage was not big enough for the things we had to do. I remember me and Koki had to do floor work, and there was a speaker in the way. I remember the Kodamas had to do floor work, and there was a speaker in the way. And I remember when we had to get on stage for the umbrellas, everything. We didn't fit. There were so many of us. With the fear that someone was going to get clocked in the eyeball with those dang umbrellas. Oh, was scary. But yeah, after the performance was great. And we went out. Oh, I think this was the one where we have a dressing room at AI that's up in the... it's in a building. And we were like all in the window watching the fashion show during this time and just cheering for the fashion show people, everyone who was walking for the fashion show in the daytime. We were just all at the window screaming our heads off and yelling. It was so good. I love when CORE gets to support other performers or other artists or anyone else at a convention. It's one of the best things because hands down, you have about 20 plus people just cheering for you. What a great thing. That's the best part about, running deep with that many people in your squad is that you can just support people so much. I have my coffee here and the ice melted. That does not taste good. Sorry, I'm reading your chats. Yeah, this way. And then when we did it, me and Soulmate went back and we redid some of the umbrella work for Closer for ALA. Something happened to ALA. I can't remember. Oh. Was this the year? Wait. No. Wait. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It's okay. I went in my mind palace for a second. The story I'm thinking of ALA is the next year, and it's a really cool story. But this year at ALA, we did Studio Ghibli. What freestyle did we do? Because we did something else. If anyone remembers. I don't think we did a photo shoot. I remember the photo shoot at ALA. I remember because that's when we got Joseph and Lauren's very cute photo of them. And then, oh, that was a cute one too. I have like random pictures of Can and Koki snuggling from that photo shoot on my phone. I also remember me and Koki really wanted to get that shot of when Chihiro and Haku are falling and they're reaching for each other. And to get the shot of us, doing that, we would wait and we would do like a, whatchamacallit? I don't even know how to say it. Like this, we would literally hit that pose, that horizontal pose, and then land in a push-up, and we did it 82,000 times to try to get the right look of our feet and the right look of our hands and the right, we had to make sure we were perfectly parallel with the ground, and that photo shoot took forever for us. But it was really, really good. Oh, and then the great shot of JK and Lizzie Chivs when they're on the rock. Oh, it's such a good shot. Oh, such a good shot. That ALA was so much fun. It didn't rain. We did do a panel that year at ALA. I can't remember what room we were in because the panel rooms change so often. But we did have a smaller squad do something else. We also did... Oh, this was the year we went to the dance. Oh, this was the year we went to the dance. Okay. So after Ghibli set, at ALA, we went to ALA dance. ALA dances are so much fun. They're so much fun because you just get to go and be silly and crazy, and they play great music, and it's in a big ballroom, and you just dance. The first night we went, it was really empty. So we just we were part of like a big cypher, and we just do the silliest things. We're just weird. You don't go to these dances to like, you're not going to challenge anyone. You're going to either like have fun and really like go for it. I got a burp. There's a burp right here. Stillborn. Ugh. I don't know if people make themselves burp. But the first night we had so much fun making up silly things. And then the next night we're like, everyone, we have to go out as a group. Just wear your Henleys for the year. We had our black core Henleys with the gold symbol on the side. And we're like, just wear that and we'll go in. And I remember there was another group of guys. They were community dancers, and they showed up, and which is fine, that's great, and they were doing a little cipher, but then they kept kind of challenging us, and we were like, oh, that's fine, fun little good to do battles. But there's an etiquette when you do a cipher. One is you don't hit the people around you. And one of their breakers didn't have really good spatial awareness. As much as we make fun of Jason for breaking things, he has very good spatial awareness when he's in a cipher. He will not kick people in the face. He won't hurt people. He'll hurt objects, but he won't hurt people. This guy got really close to Amy at one point. Amy was like, no. She had to like push his foot away because he almost clocked her in the face. And then they just started to like really get all up in our grill. So instead of, fighting back, I remember like it was Chibs, Richie, and Jason. They were like, okay, we're just going to we're going to move away. And then the rest of us, board encouraged it too. We're like, you know what, guys, like it's not in good fun anymore. It's starting to get a little aggressive. Let's move away to this like corner of the packed dance hall. And everywhere we moved, they would start to join. So at one point we just kind of like dispersed as a group for a while. And I will give credit to Core, very good at not escalating a situation. They did not engage in any of their call outs, did not engage in any aggressive behavior. They were just, I remember going to the side and me and Joseph making up the weirdest dance moves. Just the weirdest. Gosh, we're so weird. It was so much fun. And then just dancing with like other cosplayers. What is this? I don't know. I mean, I think one of my nerves is dying. I thought I spilled something cold on my leg. There's definitely nothing over here. But those dances are always fun. ALA dances are so much fun to enjoy and to be a part of. Their lounge, so much fun. Their after hours stuff, absolutely great. And oh my gosh, this was the ALA. This was the ALA where the party went crazy. Because after we performed on the third night, fourth night, a lot of people, or the fourth day of con, a lot of people aren't, you're not required to be there on core because we've done all of our things. And other people, like if they have work and stuff, they have to go work. Most of us try to do all 4 days. I remember that, no, it wasn't the last day. It was like the second to last day. Roston was doing a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. It was like either night 3 or night 2. And the tournament was at one of the hotels. Now, Core does not engage in this, but ALA is kind of notorious. Not the convention itself, but the con goers are kind of notorious for being hard partiers. It's considered the party con. ALA does not contribute to that. They organize it so well. They like take care of everyone's safety. It's great. People sometimes ruin it. And I remember that night, me and Amy were waiting in the lobby for Roston to be done with his tournament. And that lobby, y'all, was insane. I remember staffers literally giving up and leaving the lobby. When I tell you, there was so many people. This is like after hours for the con. It's the second to last night. So technically this is the last night you could party at the con. There were people jumping off of the stairs balcony. A few plates on the buffet table that was just out for display for breakfast got smashed. Some people were dragging out drunken people who were like literally like in a cartoon. We're dragging them out. And there were people throwing up in the front. And me and Amy are standing there together. And we're like, dear goodness Lord, what is happening? And I'm looking, like I remember a staffer walking by and me and Amy asked like, are you okay? And they're just like, I'm so sorry. This is very stressful. Oh, we were also there to meet up with one of our runners to get a converter for the panel thing. So now I don't know what night this was. But we were getting a converter for our laptop, and even he came out and he was like, he was dressed as Goku, and we're like, is everything okay? He's like, we're just trying to get everything under control. It's kind of a mess right now. The staff is working with, ALA staff was also working with the hotel staff to get things together. And I was like, honestly, is there anything we can do to help? Anything we can do to contribute to this? And they're like, no, this is something we have to address. Yeah, it was a crazy year. So then me and Amy were like, we need to go get Rawson. So we like went up into the ballrooms, and like there were people who were chill. There were definitely people who were not going crazy, but they were just like kind of spread out. Like there was a whole D&D campaign happening in one area, and then that's also where the manga reading room was. It's also where the anime watch room was. It's where the lounge was at. So there was just a lot of people in the area, and we found Rawson. He finished his tournament. We're like, we need to get out of here. And as we were leaving, all three of us were like, oh gosh, this is so intense. And me and Amy were just laughing because even out in the parking lot, it was just insane. I felt so bad for the staff. I felt so bad for the hotel. I was like, gosh, I know we are weebs and we are having fun, but you guys, there is a limit. Do not push it to the limit. No, I don't do it. So that was a pretty crazy con. But core in and of itself, we were having a good time. We had a great time. I always remember going to the In-N-Out. That's one of my just fun con memories of ALA. There's an In-N-Out right there. And core always gets In-N-Out together at some point over there. And I mean, in a time when we're remembering conventions, that was just fun. I can't wait until we go back to ALA. Hopefully, if it's not in January, then soon, within 2022, we get to go back to ALA and go have dinner at In-N-Out again, or at that Denny's right down the way together again. So, yeah, that's when we did Studio Ghibli, and I think, is that the last time we do Studio Ghibli? I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure we do it again. In some capacity, we do something of it again. But I am going to end there because after ALA, we end up venturing into the world of anime and WonderCon. Oh, K-pop festival. Come back next week for that. That one was super fun. We create the Idol Scouts. So we like to do iterations of the Scouts. And after Hip Hop Sailor Senshi, we decided to create idol versions of the Scouts, and this is the year where it's the first time we're going to AX, not doing a Beyond the Northern Wall show or sequel. So we wanted to go back to the roots of a militaristic uniform look. We first showed up at AX all in uniform for Attack on Titan. So let's do that again. Let's do something like Beyond the Northern Wall, Into the Kingdom, and Return to the Unknown. There were so many different cosplays going around. Let's do something where we all look uniform and together. And this is the year we decide to do Full Metal Alchemist. And that journey is a beautiful, beautiful journey. Something happens with the team during FMA. Something as a unit evolves during the creation and the execution of FMA. And so I really want to delve into that next week. I'm going to hopefully, if I can, get a special guest to come talk about FMA with me here. Now, I don't have a lot of options because, of course, we are still in quarantine. We all are still trying to stay nice and safe. So I can't have a lot of guests on here, but hopefully I can bring in one of my Noble House human beings to kind of talk about what happens during FMA year. So I will end there. Studio Ghibli was great. I got to live my best Chihiro life because, fun fact, Spirited Away is both Sonali and my sister's favorite Studio Ghibli movie. It's their comfort movie. So to get to play Chihiro meant a lot to me. And the shoes I actually wore, the yellow ones, are my sister's Chihiro cosplay shoes that I got to wear. So super exciting. Anyways, with that being said, if you haven't been following us on TikTok yet, the Core Dance Crew, we are on TikTok. And last night at rehearsals, I offered the 111th Squadron of Principal Dancers a challenge. I challenged them to the WAP challenge. but a very different version. I told them to take the WAP challenge and redo the dance in their own style. And they only had 15 minutes to do that. And so that is happening on our TikTok. All those videos are uploading. Go ahead and follow us. It's the Core Dance Crew on TikTok. You will see everyone's versions. I am so amazingly impressed with what everyone came up with, because in 15 minutes, and half the team didn't even know what that challenge was or what was going on. I think right after I announced it, someone's like, what are the moves? What's the first word? And of course, Trini, TikTok famous, was like, what if the WAP challenge is my style? It's so funny. It's so good. Everyone kills it. Go head over there. Also, if you didn't get a chance to catch Nifa's takeover yesterday, all of her Insta Story takeovers and her IGTV lives are on our Instagram, the Core Dance Crew. And make sure it's never too late to wish her a happy birthday, because yesterday was her birthday. Our Nifa is something very integral and very needed to our team. And so we are so grateful for her and everything that she does. So make sure you do say happy birthday to her. It's never too late. And if you haven't checked out our latest videos on our YouTube, Jo did premiere her Baking with Penguin show last week. It is the cutest thing in the world. And make sure you are notified. Hit the notification button on this and subscribe, because we have a bunch of new YouTube productions featuring other Coresmen that are coming to this channel in the next couple weeks. I'm not going to give away a lot, but everyone has a very special show with their own special niche. So I'm excited to have all that there. And with that being said, I am Kayla Malari. I did read chapter 132 of Attack on Titan, the manga, and I am heartbroken. So if you want to message me on Instagram to talk about it, you can. Because stress ball change, y'all. Stress ball change. But with that being said, this has been episode 8, part 8 of the History of Core on Beyond the Northern Walk Talk Show. And I will see you guys again next week at the same time. I think, yes. Anyways, shout out to Soulmate and Nifa and Liz, and I think Jo and other humans in the chat. Shout out to our patrons in the chat. I always see y'all out there, and it's always great to see you out there. And comrades, whether you're new or old, we love you. That's just the truth. We love you. With that being said, for those who have to go to class or for those who have to eat dinner, thank you so much. Hands out. Sotomato on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hand over your heart. Offer your heart out to humanity. Sotomato. Night, y'all. If you haven't caught up with Attack on Titan, do it, please, for me.